What's going on, guys? Kirk here to bring in our video, and it is winter in Skyrim. I have a winter mod, and since it's winter in real life where I live, so I guess why not roleplay with Skyrim? I also have a fog mod, like, where it's always foggy, and it really goes good with the roleplaying and the winter thing. So anyway, this video is talking about how Elder Scrolls 6 could improve marriage in the adoption system. As we know, Skyrim was the very first Elder Scrolls to introduce the marriage, to get married to either a husband or a wife, depending on what your preference was. And Elder Scrolls 5 DLC 2, called Heartfire or Hearthfire, whatever how you pronounce it, introduced the adoption system where you can adopt kids from an orphanage or kids who don't have parents and homeless. So yeah, how can you think they can improve? Because I think marriage is most likely going to return in Elder Scrolls 6. So for fall work like marriages, I'm pretty sure they're going to have likes and dislikes. They're going to also keep improving them for personality. And one thing I'll mention, when you get married, your spouse says, he or she says, I'm going to set up a store in the town where you live. So this is one thing I can think they could expand on, like going to get supplies for your spouse. Like I would love to see the spouse store be expanded on, where she orders like supplies and he or she orders supplies and you gotta go get it. And when you are trying to bring it, there are bandits and thugs trying to kill you and take it. So obviously that would be a great improvement. How they also can improve it, I think for a follower spouse in Elder Scrolls 6, I think they should have their likes, dislikes, and also I would love to see your spouse interact with your children, because in Skyrim, like, they don't interact. There's only mentions of like stuff they did off screen, like took to a market. So I would love to see the children like react with your spouse, and like have them like really good personalities. And they could do encounters where the child is misbehaving, not doing chores or eating the food that she puts on the table, like stuff that happens in real life. And they can also do where asking for money, and that you can either side with the kid, give what they want, or side with your spouse, like, and tell them listen to your mother or listen to your father. Like, that would be good. And I would also want to be able to, like, not like have them follow you into battles, like, because they're kids, like. But one cool feature would be is have them like go for a walk, like around the town, like take them to the market. And another thing in this, I think kids should be able to get more gifts, like books, potions. Like if they were sick, like they should have it where kids can get sick and you can give them a potion to feel better. And before we get back to the marriage, I think they should have a divorce feature. Like, that would go good with the roleplay. And, like, say, like, what's used in a character like my wife in Skyrim, the Lioness, who just wants to do good for the, of Ripton. And, like, let's say you go around stealing stuff, murdering people, and she starts to hate, he or she starts hating you, and reaches a point where she divorces you, and you have an option to say, fine, get lost, or beg her to give you, he or she to give you one more chance. Like, I really like the companion system and follow how they had their likes, dislikes, and like they reacted a lot to the world. Skyrim had that too, where companions would react to a cave or enemies you were fighting or being in towns, but I would love to see more of that, like upgraded personalities. With Starfield, have continuing to upgrade followers, improving them, and having them where they can talk for you, that's awesome. And for Elder Scrolls 6, like I said, if your spouse is a follower, I would love to have them like react and like have hates, dislikes like in Fallout and Starfield, and makes you really be careful with your spouse around you. Like, let's say like one is wants to help people, and you join a faction like the Dark Brotherhood and the Steve's Guild, they will get angry and like I think they should do that where they know like your spouse knows what you're doing. And another thing that I think they should do is a dating system for Elder Scrolls 6. Instead of like you're able to just marry someone after helping them, especially a follower companion, I think they should have a dating system where they throughout the game with the choices you make throughout doing it and through the main story if they're going to be a part of it, like in side quests and helping people, like you should like have the ability to like after earning getting to know them, doing some friendships, like if your like charisma is very high, you should have a flirt option, like and talk about being more than friends. What this game should also do with a dating system is have stuff to be able to like get your spouse something nice or girlfriend. Like I always wanted that in Skyrim where like the children's thing, you say I got something for you, but for Skyrim like you can get say like your spouse like likes a certain history of something or a book or like an armor or jewelry, like I think that would be a great thing is to come up to your husband or wife saying, I got something for you, and it would make them happy. Like, that would be really cool. Other stuff I would like for, like, Elder Scrolls 6 for girlfriend, boyfriend, or husband or wife is uh, a date night. Say, like, you have kids and you want to tell your spouse, hey, let's go on a date night. Either to the bar, go for a walk, like across, like outside the town, but not too far. And also, I would love to like go for a horse ride. As you can see with this mod, I got the lioness riding a horse. Or I would also like a mod where not a mod, an ability base game feature to like have them climb on the back of your horse and you take them for a ride. That would be really cool. Another thing they should do is like when you gain to know like and they ask you questions, like it's normal what do you do for a living? You can have options like I'm an adventurer, or you can say if you're a member of the Weird Companions, you like and they like people that help doing good stuff and helping people. That will give them a like and have them fall in love with you, he or she. Or if you say you're a member of the Dark Brotherhood or an evil guild, like faction, that will cause them to dislike you and it would have consequences. So there are ways that can improve this. So other stuff I would love to have for Elder Scrolls 6 is an interaction with your spouse. Like, and no, we're not going to be talking about the ability to do you know what, and it starts with an S and it has two other letters. Nope, Bethesda would never do something like that. But what I think they could do is an ability like ask if you want to dance or also would be cool to ability to kiss on the hand. Like that's a thing in Sims. Um, and another thing I'll say is give them flowers. Like that's something couples do in real life. I think an ability to hug and kiss, like give a kiss, like on the lips or on the cheeks. So, and another thing, I would love to have your spouse like to play a part in the story if he or she's a follower, and you got married before doing the main quest, and you bring them along to help fight in the main quest. I would love them like react to your choices, like I said, and know what you are. Like it's kind of disappointing that actually it's really disappointing that in Skyrim, like that they didn't know that you were the Dragonborn or a member of the companions or the leader or part of the Empire or the Stormcloaks. Like that's something that was really disappointing. So I'm pretty sure they wouldn't improve that now, especially after Fallout 4. That they were that and Starfield's. I'm sure the companions are going to play a good chunk of your stuff in the main story. And other stuff I think they can do is like obviously keep the kidnapping thing where you got to go rescue your spouse. Like obviously that was a really cool thing they did in the Dawnguard and the Heartfire DLC. Keep that. And what else should they do? With the vampire thing, keep that for those that want to turn their spouses into vampires, and have more dialogue about them being as a vampire. Um, Another thing they could do is like have an encounter where your spouse gets infected by vampirism. He or she is sad, doesn't know what to do, and it's up to you to find answers how to cure vampirism. And you can still do a normal quest where you get cured of vampirism. Another thing, like for about the dialogue with them interact with your kids, is like, um, say like your kids do something wrong, like are supposed to be home by a certain time. That's something you do. You tell them they have to be home by a certain time, that they come late, and they have excuses or an actual reason that to why. That would be something. And say like you're hard on your kid, your spouse can come up to you and say you're too hard on them, and you can say mind your own business, or say like in Avatar. Now I'm thinking of Avatar when Jake was giving his kids a hard time, and Neytiri said you're hard on them. You can say something like I'm their father. That's my job. Like, or you can say perhaps you're right. Maybe I was too harsh on them. Something else they can do is like obviously go do their chores, but there should also be a thing like go help your mother with the garden or father, or that could be something like. And the spouse can also ask, can you ask one of the kids to come help me, or could you help me? Like that would be good. Some other cool stuff would be for the like have your spouse be able to play hide and seek and tag with the kids, like with you. Like that would be cool. Like have them be able to play with the kids, like I just said. And other interaction and dialogue with your spouse, and your children. One of them could ask while sitting down, say like at the supper table, or just sitting down in general, ask, hey mom or dad, how did you two meet? And you can tell the story, and they should have some dialogue where you can joke around and tell some lies, and then your spouse could speak and say, no, that's not what happened, and tell the stuff the full truth then. So yeah, I would love for them to be able to ask, how did you meet? That would be a good thing. And right here, this could be a chore for the kids. Tell them to go to this fishery thing. Another thing I like to have is be able to teach your kids how to fish, like as children. Like say like you're in the middle of nowhere, and also say like they're in an area where there's a river, lake, and you can take your children and teach them how to fish. Like that would be a good thing they could do. Also, is they can they can come up with a thing where you can teach them to use a bow and arrow while fishing, like to get the fish with the bow and arrow. So that's something you can do. Teach them how to fish like that. Stuff they can also do would be cool to improve is have your kids become teenagers. Like teach them how to like defend themselves and use a sword. Yep, that's something that would be good. Teaching them how to use a sword, a crossbow. So yeah, teaching them self-defense. And another thing that they could do is also when their kids, so like you live in a town, ask if they can go visit a neighbor's house, like a friend, like theirs, like, and say, would you like tell them, would you eat what they make and would you behave? So yeah, that'd be good. And them asking, can their friend come over and visit? Like that would be something cool. And you see them interact with your spouse, like say hello and hello to you. You can tell them that they're misbehaving to leave, or it's time for them to leave. So yeah, that would be something cool. And I think something else that would be cool to improve is say like you have a house in the middle of nowhere, and the house Carl tells you and your wife that uh, your son or daughter uh, sneaked out of the house and you gotta go look for them. And when you find them, you can tell them, we were worried about you. Don't do that again, please. Or give them a hard time. And the spouse can also tell, should have not went out. And or she can be angry. And you can say, like, don't be hard on he or her or them. Another thing I would like is when you don't have your spouse with you, following you, when you bring other companions, I would like to have them interact for a bit when you're not moving. You see them interacting with your kids and your wife, and they are introduced to your family. So that would be cool. And have someone like say like you take you and your spouse can go on a supply run or just go following like for a quest or something, and you're gonna be gone for quite some time. Ask a follower to be like a godfather and look after the kids until you get back. That would be a really cool thing to do. And just so I can follow, like, if Elder Scrolls is only down to one companion that you can take with you, and you depart, like, for another companion, they should, if it's your spouse, they should say, take care of him, I can follow. I could not imagine what would my life be without him or her, or if something happened to you. And if you have a very good like friendship with your followers that you aren't that is not your spouse, he or she can say, "I will," and also have like if you're married to a woman in Skyrim, and you're a man, your spouse, if it's a woman, should say, "Don't get any bright ideas with him," and the other follower can say, "I won't. Don't worry, I won't." And for a few things to say about dating, And sure, they can have just some NPCs that aren't followers. Like, sure, they should have the kiss, the hug, like, go get the supplies, like, ones that can't follow you, like, that don't go adventuring. Like, they should have, like, the normal NPCs, like, just like where you just say, "Will you marry me?" and that's it after helping them. So yeah, but for followers and companions, I would love to have like a really like building a great bond with your followers that you would want to marry. So that's something I really would want. And if like they allow us to have two companions or three or four, like a group, like say like obviously the companion should react to if their goal is to treat people with respect and help people. Let's say like you were making a bunch of bad choices and your spouse is a companion and you get called out and say you're not the same person, like you're making bad choices and that I'm not happy with, and the other followers are noticing it, like they should be able to say like, this is your husband or your wife, like what made you fall for this person, like. So yeah, I would love to see reactions, but there's probably other ways they can also improve, but that's all I can think of. How would you improve the marriage system, the adoption system in Skyrim? I mean, Elder Scrolls 6.